The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sawagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machindye, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besije every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, Alternative Digital brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besije.
Let's keep on the same page on Alternative Digital.
As he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here every Friday from midday to 2 p.m. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Wow, kadde ka program ya Mighty Drive nze Princess Luwedde Lilian edanga ku ssaawa 2 kwakayitako eddakiika 5 zokka nkubuuzako nawe osinzidde okubanga ate otulaba lunaku lwakuna ennaku z'omwezi ziri 10 omwezi ogw'ekkumi oba mu Luganda guyite omwezi ogwamukulukusa bitongotongo munnange omwaka gukyali 2024 mbalamusaako wonawe musinzidde okubanga mutulaba abatulabira mu ggwanga Uganda n'ebitundu by'eggwanga eby'enjawulo abatulabira emitala w'amayanja abatulabira yona we musizidde okubanga mutulaba mwebale nnyo omulimu gwomukola gwa ttendo nnyo era tusiimira nno ddala kakati ngenda kubanga negatibwako munnamateeka Kato Tumusiime okwongera ate okutaanya ku nsonga nga bwe zitambula mu ggwanga Uganda nga bwe tutunuulira ate ssemateeka ono ayagala okubanga akolebwamu ennongoosereza ku nsonga y'okuba nti munnange obukulu bwa paalamenti oba obukulembeze bwa paalamenti n'emirimu engeri gye gikolebwamu ensonga y'okuba nti boolyawo bakalamu ennongoosereza ate bwe kituuka ku nsonga y'ebyokulonda tugenda kuba tutambulira awo era nga osobola okuba ng'oteesa ng'oyita ku platforms zaffe ku Facebook The Alternative Uganda ne Digitalk TV so nga ate YouTube channel yaffe eri The Alternative Uganda. Nsabo subscribing or liking pages afe onyige nakadako nti butwera live obera kitototondo ate ku discussion eba eri mu ddiiro. Ngenda kubanga nkuyitira mu koko ebyo ate ebyakoze amawulire wano bwe waawo nawe osobola okubanga otegeera ebyabadde gy'otasobodde kubanga ate obeera. Olunaku olw'ejjo ebijaguzo byamefuga oba oli awo okujjukira amefuga ga Uganda munnange bwe bityo nno byagenze maaso n'okubanga bijaguzibwa era ng'emikolo gyabadde busi eyo ku ssomero lya Busiko Teachers Demonstration Primary School munnange n'emikolo gye gyayindidde era nga gyasombodde abantu okuva ebule n'ebweya. Omulamwa ogwamefuga g'omulundi guno gwadde gugamba nti okuddamu okweyama okutereeza ebiseera bya Uganda eby'omu maaso. Bwe twogerera Uganda yakeetongolo oba yakeefuga okumala emyaka 62 era nga nno munnange olugendo lubadde luwanvu tufunyeeko abakulembeze ab'enjawulo ababaddewo naye nga bwe twogerera omukulembeze w'eggwanga General Kaguta Museveni yali mu nkato ey'okuba nti munnange eggwanga lino Uganda oba oliawo alyongerayo mu maaso. So bannayuganda bangi abeetabye ku mukolo guno era nga gwasitudde ebikonge ebyenjawulo nga mu bimu ku bikonge ebyasituse okubaawo ku mukolo guno ye President wa Central African Republic His Excellency Faustin Achange Twadera munnange nga naye ku mukolo guno yabaddewo nnyo era nga mu bumu ku bubaka bwe yagenze maaso n'okubanga yeebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ate nno munnange okubanga akulaakulanya eggwanga lyattu Uganda weewaawo n'okulaba nti ateekawo okutabagana mu bantu oba oliawo ebintu ebifudde Uganda eggwanga ate eryessanyu weewaawo n'okweyagaza. Yagenze maaso n'okubanga ategeeza nti munnange ebintu omukulembeze w'eggwanga General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni byakoze ate nno munnange mu bbanga lino lyabadde mu nkato weewaawo munnange bimufudde ekyokulabirako ekirungi ate n'abakulembeze abalala bangi. Yabaddewo ku mikolo gino ebusiya gye gyabadde era nno munnange nga si yeyeka yabaddewo wabaddewo abakulembeze ab'enjawulo nalabeko Vice President nendabako Prime Minister still ku bijaguzo bye bimu Deputy Speaker of Parliament Mukulu Thomas Tayebwa naye yabaddewo ku mukolo guno baminisita ab'enjawulo era nga Minister for Presidency omukyala Milly Babalanda yagenze maaso n'okubanga naye abaako obubaka bwe yawadde naga nti munaye ensonga y'enguzi ate weewaawo enyize nnyo eggwanga Uganda naye nga nno munnange IGG omukyala Betty Olive Namisango Kamya ate agikutte bulungi era nga bakkiriza nti ejja kubanga ate nayo erinnyibwa konfete. Omukolo guno gwabaddeko bannaddiini kwabaddeko abakulembeze okuva ate weewaawo mu nzikiriza ez'enjawulo kwabaddeko abantu ab'enjawulo okuva mu bikonge ebyenjawulo oba okuva mu biti ebyenjawulo era nga omukolo gwabadde munene nnyo nga n'omukulembeze w'eggwanga General Kaguta Museveni naye yabaddewo era weezaaweredde essaawa nga 4 ez'okumakya yabadde ate yatuuse dda ebusiya ku kisaawe ate nno munnange eky'essomero lya Busiko Teachers Demonstration Primary School ate okulaba nti bijaguzo bino naye abyegattako. Weewaawo mu kwogera kwe omukulembeze w'eggwanga yatenderezza nnyo CDF oba Chief of Defence Forces oba muyite omuduumizi w'eggye ly'eggwanga li UPDF era nga ononno era akolanga oba ononno ng'era General Muhoozi Kainerugaba munnange yamwebazizza oba oliawo olw'enkyukakyuka ze yagenze maaso n'okubanga ateeka mu bitongole ate ebikuuma ddembe kale kwegamba namutendereza olw'okuba nti munnange ebitongole bino ate bwe baadde ku parade byasobodde okubanga bikozesa obudde butono naye ng'ate bashokesinze ebintu bingi nnyo omuli skills oba oliawo ze bagenda n'okubanga omuliro okweyasizaako amayinja era bingi nnyo ate ebyabadde ku mukolo guno. Kale nno munnange naga nti abasirikale okubanga bakandalirira mu nnyiriri abadde nkola nkadde nnyo naye nga weewaawo wetwogerera dda mu kaseera kano ensonga eno nayo yakyuseemu. President Museveni era still mu bumu ku bubaka bwe yagenze maaso n'okuba nga ategeeza nga eggwanga lyattu Uganda oba oliawo bwe lisenvudde mu kusenvula ey'enjawulo nga tubadde tutambulira mu phases nga muno nno mulimu phase eyasookera ddala eya mineral recovery, phase ey'okubiri yali expanding the economy omuno mwe mwali ensonga ate ey'ebyobulimi n'obulunzi okulaba nti Uganda oba oliawo efuna akatale ebweru w'eggwanga okusobola okuba nti etunda ebintu byayo, diversifying the economy, adding the value to raw materials and promoting industrialization. Bw'otunuulira ebimu ku ebyo byannyonnyodde ebigenze maaso n'okuba nga biteekebwako omutindo mwe muli amata, mulimu textiles, mulimu cement, mulimu kasooli, weewaawo n'ebirala bingi nnyo ebisobodde okuba nga bituukibwako. Nannyonnyola oba oliawo n'asiiga ekifaananyi nga eggwanga Uganda gye lyava mu nsonga y'ebyenfuna n'eggwanga we baalisangira nga wetwogerera yagenze maaso n'okuba nga ategeeza nti ebimu ku ebyo bikyuseemu nga basinze nnyo ate okulaba nti essira baliteeka mu byobulambuzi mu kulima pamba ne production of copper gwe bagamba nti bagenda maaso n'okubanga ate naye bamurevivinga. Phase ey'okutaano weewaawo gye yakoonyeeko munnange yagambye nti kati wetwogerera tulimu entering knowledge economy nga kakati obwanga tubutunuuliza pharmaceutical, manufacturing, bw'otunuulira baasi zagamba nti zetukolera waneeno mu ggwanga Uganda. Kale kwegamba munnange bw'atyo omukulembeze w'eggwanga bwe yagenze maaso n'okuba nga ategeeza nga y'emirimu weewaawo n'agamba nti public servants emirimu egiriyo giwera ddala emitwalo 47. Naga nti munnange si buli omu nti agenda kubanga afuna ate omulimu oba omukisa okubanga y'omu ku bakozi ba government wabula munnange emirimu egisinga giri mu private sector. Naga nti mu manufacturing nayo waliyo miliyoni emu oba oliawo mu emitwalo 2 ey'abantu abakyafunye emirimu sayidi eyo. Naga nti kino kikyali kituuza tutandika butandisi naga nti emirimu giri sayidi eyo. So weewaawo n'aba nti ayongera okukubiriza bannayuganda ate okulaba nti munnange emirimu ate nayo baginoonyayo eyo. Yakoonye ku nsonga nyingi nnyo oba oliawo ze nnyinza obutabamalirayo olwakadde okusobola okulaba nti mbawa updates endala naye nga yakonyeeko weewaawo ku nsonga nnyingi nnyo. Naga nti bw'alibanga akomyewo omulundi omulala ajja genda maaso n'okuba nga ayogera ku nsonga nnyo omuli ensonga y'okwekulaakulanya, ensonga ate ey'obugagga oba oliawo n'okwejja mu bwavu, service provision, weewaawo n'ensonga ey'emirimu ajja kuba nga ate agyogerako. Naye era mu kwogera kwe teyalemye kuttukiza oba kwongera kunnyonnyola ku nsonga ya NRM ekibiina mwava, ensonga z'abakulembeze oba oliawo ensonga kwe batambudda nga mulimu eya patriotism okwagala ensi yo, ensonga ya pan-africanism okwagala Africa as a whole, ate ensonga ya socio-economic transformation, ensonga y'ebyokwekulaakulanya, weewaawo n'ensonga eya demokrasiya. N'agamba nti bonga ekibiina kya NRM oba obukulembeze bwe ensonga eno ate bagitaddemu nnyo amaanyi. Weewaawo ebimu ku ebyo bye yayogedde nnyinza obutasobola kubimalayo olwakadde naye nga awo njagala ate nsooka enveewo naye nga ngenda kuwunzika n'ensonga y'okuba nti eggaali y'omukka ate eddamu okubanga munnange ekolebwa okusobola okulaba nti ebyensuubulagana n'okutambuza ebyamaguzi kale nno munnange kibanga kifuuliddwa ate ekyamangu. Ensonga y'okojja mu bwavu yabakubiriza abantu bano abava e Busia okulaba nti beenyigira nnyo mu nteekateeka za gavumenti omuli PDM emyuga ate okusobola okulaba nti bejja mu bwavu. Naye yabakuutidde ate bwe baba nga bazannya ebyobufuzi kwe kuba nti muno tebabiteeka mu agenda, tribe oba religion. Njagala nveewo ku kwogera kw'omukulembeze w'eggwanga neeyongereyo Creator Kano Dr. Kiza Besigye olunaku olw'eggulo yatuuzizza olukuŋŋaana lwa bannamawulire wali ku kitebe Katonga, kitebe oba oliawo ekya PFF. Nagenda maaso n'okubanga naye annyonnyola ku lunaku luno olw'ameefuga. Naye omukolo guno gwabaddeko abakulembeze ate okuva esaidi eyo nga nalabyeko Honorable Ibrahim Semujunganda omulodi Saalonge Elias Lukwago wao naye yakonyeko ku nsonga ya reforms zino eziri mu kwagala okukolebwa ku ssemateeka naga nti bagikola naye era bingi nnyo ebizenga bikyusibwa bajjamu kino bateekamu kiri era weewaawo naye n'agamba bannayuganda oba n'akubiriza bannayuganda ate nno munnanga okubanga boolyawo nabo babaako itofaali libateeka ku nsonga nga zino bwe ziba nga zisituse oba ensonga y'okwewolawola ensonga y'ebbanja lyetulina ng'eggwanga kale bye bimu ku byeyogeddeko naye nga ye retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye bwe yatuuse okuba ng'ayogera yasiise ekifaananyi ky'olugendo lwa Uganda gye luvudde okuva ate weewaawo we twasayiningira Buganda Agreement mu 1900 okulaba nti tutuuka ku meefuga n'okuva ku meefuga okutuuka ate waawe we tutuuse essaawa eno yayogedde ku nsonga y'ebyenfuna by'eggwanga n'aga nti Karamoja we twogerera ssaawa eno y'emu kwate oba olyawo ku region ezisingamu obwavu bufumbekedde nnyo esayidi eyo n'alyoka ayongerako Acholi ne West Nile contemplatinga ku bonna aliwo asinga munne naye nno munnange ng'alaga nti weetaaga okubaawo ate kikolebwa oba olyawo nga n'obukulembeze obuliko bulemeddwa okuba nga bukola ekisaanidde okuba nga kikolebwa ebyenjigiriza ebyobulamu ate nno munnange nabyo yabikonyeeko weewaawo n'ensonga y'amabanja eggwanga lye lirimu n'aga nti munnange ebyenfuna si birungi era nga munnange bino biremesezza ate n'abazadde okubanga bawa abaana baabwe ebyenjigiriza eby'omutindo yayogedde ku nsonga mpitirivu nnyo naye olwakadde nnyinza obutazigendamu into details okulaba nti nze kumenyeramenyera naye ebyo byenkuwadde bebimu ku bye yasobodde okubanga ate akunako awonvuddewo neyongeddeyo muggulire eddala munnamateeka oba olyawo Elias Luyimbazi Nalukoola yagenda mu maaso n'okubanga ate awandiika ebbaluwa eraganga bwe yali avudde ku kyokubanga ye muwi w'amagezi mu kibiina kino ekya Democratic Party weewaawo ng'ate era ye munnamateeka n'aga nti munnaye mu kaseera kano ali mu nsonga ndala nsonga yakwetegekera byabufuzi oba okulonda kwa bonna okwa 2026 yabadde ku mukutu gwa NTV era nga yagenze maaso n'okubanga ategeeza nti munnange newankubadde ng'ekifo ekyo yakisuddewo akyali mu kugenda mu maaso n'okubanga atunulira embeera nga bweri alina boolyawo ekibiina kyatunulidde okubanga ye ajoyininga oba waliwo n'abo abali mu kumulamuza okubanga yeegatta ku kibiina kyabwe wabula yategeezezza nti munnange essaawa zino ekimu ku bintu byatunulidde oba n'ebiruubirirwa byalina kwe kubanga simbawo ku kifo ky'omubaka akiikirira abantu ba Kawempe North mu Parliament naye ng'ekifo ekyo wetwogerera kirimu omubaka Muhammad Seggirinya weewaawo nga naye agava mu kubogalaga nti agenda kubanga akomawo ku ballot come 2026 so ebyo nno nabyo bwe bito bwe bikyayimiridde tujja kweyongera okubatuusaako wawaana abalaze oba kibiina kikyanaabaajoyininze ffe tujja kubanga ate tubibatuusaako weewaawo njagala nveeyo ate nno munnange neeyongereyo muggulire eddala enamayinga eyo kigambibwa nti munnange waliwo abantu abagenda mu maaso n'okubanga beenogera ku nnusu beenogera ku nnusu muki mu nsonga y'okuba nti baazuulayo ekyobugagga ekya gold oba muyite zaabu ono yazuulibwa ate weewaawo sabbiti nga 2 emabega naye nga abasinze okwetaba oba okwenyigira mu nteekateeka eno be bakyala abagenda mu maaso n'okubanga basima gold ono n'okubanga bamulongoosa era ng'abamu ku bo bagenze maaso okuba bategeeza nti bafunyeyo ensimbi eziwera era beenogedde ku nnusu kale nno munnange ne beebaza omutonzi olw'ekyo kyabakoledde nti kati weewaawo bagenda kubanga ate olumbe lw'obwavu ate balulinnya ku nfeete njagala mpunzike n'eggulire lino erigamba nti omuwendo gw'abantu abakwatibwa ekirwadde ekyakawaali oba muyite mpox mu district ey'e Nakasongola eno nno ennamba egenda yeeyongera nga wetwogerera abantu abasooka okubanga bazuulibwamu obulwadde buno ennamba yali y'abantu 21 kaakati wetwogerera ate beeyongeddeko munnange abantu 24 sofa be baakakwatibwa obulwadde buno buno mu bbanga lya lunaku lumu lwokka. Ekirwadde kino kisinze kutwalaga abantu abali ku mwalo gw'Erwampanga era nga munnange ebyobulamu mu district eno oba oli awo si birungi nnyo n'abantu ku mwalo guno okuba nti ebyokwerinda obulwadde ate nabo si bye baliko era nga kiraliikiriza abasawo weewaawo n'abamu ku bakwatibwa obulwadde tebagenda mu malwaliro wabula beesibira mu mayumba gaabwe era nga n'abamu knowledge about obulwadde buno bwa mpox tebagirina nga bamu basookanga kulowooza nti namusuna yakuta abantu baabwe naye ng'ate bulwadde bwa mpox. So abantu ffenna tukubirizibwa okubeera obulindaala okwerinda ekirwadde kino mugoberere ebyo ate oba oyaawo ebyateekebwawo okulaba nti twewala obulwadde buno butagetinga mu contacts n'abantu abalina obulwadde buno. So njagala kuba nga mpunzikira wano updates zaffe tuwumulemu katono nnyo bwe tukomawo Counsel ajja kuba nga neegaseeko twongere okutaanya ku nsonga ez'enjawulo. Ekyali Mighty Drive tukoma out of our
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything, because those taxes...
Much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes, it can. Although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
Hi, welcome to the Political Dice.
Empishi ebyobufuzi.
It's controversial,
Purely political,
well researched,
accurate and global.
Oyagala bya parliament oba council.
Yes, State House oba ghetto.
Ani ayugayuga ku ground.
Ani bwe baabuze.
Okimanyi nga Dr. Kizza Besigye aleesa amaanyi.
Olwo fadda bafutoli abateeseemu obuvaazi.
Oba yo DP eri ku ki?
Olwo jeema.
Bano ba MKCG bo baddawa.
Abo bafuna CDF baamala tebabanja. Olwo baba ate bange bali ku ki?
Abo bo akina kulabisa simanyanga posturing tebabiri bali mu structure building. Naye ate ono ye.
Ani oyo oba?
Ye ali ku ki?
Oyo tumuleketa gamba mpanyiga mawe.
Ebe ndabena birindira nokuda Political Dice ku the Alternative Dig Talk nange teditenja ewamune.
Farida Bikobere
Buli wa Sunday
sawa 2.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Wabiri kwa kaita kedakiika 26 nyongera okulamusako wona wosinzidde okubanga otulaba program ya Mighty Drive nze Omumbejja Luwedde Lilian era nga ntudde ne munnamateeka Kato Tumusiime agenda kubanga atulamusako maaso awo twongere okutunuulira ensonga nga bwe zitambula ye atubuulire ameefuga gano ag'emyaka 62 kiki kyajjamu oba oli awo gategeeza ki eri abavubuka twongere okutunuulira ku kwogera kw'omukulembeze w'eggwanga ku mukolo guno ogwabadde ate ebusiya twongere n'okutunuulira n'ebigenda maaso mu ggwanga naye nga ensonga y'okukola ennongoosereza mu ssemateeka bw'otunuulira Parliament emirimu engeri gye giddukanyizibwamu ebbago lino lyaleetebwa Honorable Richard Lumu ensonga y'okubanga bakola ennongoosereza mu mateeka g'ebyokulonda munnange Minister wa Justice and Constitutional Affairs omukulu Robert Mao ng'agenda maaso n'okubanga ayanja ezize omuli okukozesa enkola eya digito ate nno munnange okulaba nti okulonda okwo kutambula bulungi nnyo ensonga ya funding bingi nnyo oba oliawo byeyakoonako ne Commissioner wa Parliament Honorable Mathias Mpuuga naye yavaayo naye n'aleeta oba oliawo electoral reforms zayagala zibe nga ate ziteekebwa mu nkola mu kulonda kuno kwe tuli mu kubanga twetegekera awo tugenda okubanga tutambulira teesa naffe ku The Alternative Uganda ne Digital TV ku Facebook so nga ate YouTube channel yaffe eri The Alternative Uganda kanyaniriza munnamateeka ate asooka alamuse ku batulaba weewaawo naye atubuulire ebijaguzo by'ameefuga bino byamusanze wa Counsel.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lilian and the viewers. I'm glad to be part of this show today.
Okay. Kulikayo mu independence.
Independence yawedde.
Wabadde ebusiya?
Anedda. I think angenda kukola ekibusiya.
Naye twadde mu bijaguzo. Ffe twadde tulina okuweereza eggwanga wano olunaku lw'eggulo. Naye kati mwe twadde tubaleese olunaku mu lunyumirwe.
Naffe twadde tuweereza eggwanga yonna gye twabadde eyo.
Okay.
Naye ebyagenze mu maaso eyo busiya nabigoberedde.
Okay.
Era nenzijjamu ebimu yadde sikkaanya nabyo ebisinga bati. Bwetyo bwetambula.
Uganda kati tuli bakulu tulina emyaka 62 okutandikibwa gye tukuza saawa eno.
Yes.
What do you make of the 62 years of Uganda's independence?
I think 62 years would have been a good number in numbers.
Yes.
Kubanga bwoba ogaba grades oba divisions kati awo at least eba nga C. Awo okoze bulungi.
Oba credit.
Credit for. Yeah, awo oba si wabi ogenderawo.
Okay.
But is what we are seeing in this country, does it actually reflect the 62 years that we have spent being independent? Are we actually independent? Or we are just having the picture of independence, but the reality shows different things?
I'm hearing this statement of are we independent? Are we independent?
Are we independent? Because independence itself twali twejja ku
bafuzi b'amatwale
colonialists.
Yes.
But I believe that even when we were successful and got our independence in court, we actually got the colonialists that are the same to us, that are black in color, that are even more worse than even the colonialists that we had then, the British. That's a fact. Look at our democracy in this country itself. Does it really bring out the picture of democratic people, of independent Uganda, and 62 years old since we got that independence? Does it bring it the whole idea?
Tuina ne opposition.
Tugenda kagendamu. But the democracy that we are talking about is a democracy where one side benefits and enjoys all the privileges to go and traverse the country and campaign, move everywhere they want and do whatever they want in that line to be able to obtain office in the next election term. You get? And where some other political parties and opposition party players, politicians, are denied access even to their hometowns to make campaigns or to make rallies and the rest, so they can be able to spread the message. Does it really show the 62 years of independence that we have spent as a country? The level of social services that we have in this country. Look at our health system. The hospitals and majorly the referral hospitals that were built then are the same that we are still using. Even by the Obote regime and the rest. Those are the ones. What we are seeing now is only renovation and paintings. But when you enter into that hospital, call it a referral hospital, you'll find patients sleeping down on a cement that is all filled with potholes. Does it really bring out the idea of independence at 62? Are you happy that the way you are seeing our transport, our infrastructure system in this country, in Kampala itself, the city, capital city of this country, at 62, does it bring out the independence of this country? If you look at the brutality, if you look at the violation and abuse of human rights in this country, does it really bring out the picture of independence at 62?
naye ate ebimu bagamba ebiriwo kati bye mutunuuliza kati nti ne mu regimes ezaayita era byaliwo ku mulembe gwa Idi Amin Dada, Obote, former president, these are former presidents of Uganda. So His Excellency the late kati Obote ne Idi Amin Dada bagambira the same things used to happen.
You see, that's what they say. That's what they say. But when President Museveni and the NRA took power in 86. President Museveni, then a young man and a very strong, brilliant man, at that age, while swearing in as a new president of the country, said, what we are seeing is not a mere change of guards, but a fundamental change.
Yes.
It means that whatever change he was bringing in this country, in his new leadership, in 86, was a leadership, was a change that we had never seen in this country. And that's the change that would actually not repeat what mistakes had been done by the previous regimes and the government. You understand me?
Okay.
For the first maybe 5-6 years, well, you can say he tried. It wasn't a fundamental change. Okay? But what happened thereafter? In fact, in the Sara of but at least I have had an opportunity to read about these regimes, to follow up the documentaries and the rest that are made. At least in Soburuku, Okugera government, Singako, Navy Save, Yadesariwo. But even the people that were there, my grandmother normally tells me that the problems this regime found in the people were the problems that maybe most of them did not use to have sleep. And what caused that was the war that was happening. And the war that was brought by the NRA.
But our statement, twafuna kutulo.
That's what they only say. Agamba kati tufuna otulo, at least that one. But you see, the problems in 86 and the years below are not the same problems in 2024. My problem now is not lacking sleep, no. Is it your problem? Nobody together just to do some other things, because it really shows that our problems now are not problems of we can at least afford the sleep. No, but will you even sleep hungry? Your children, your siblings, your parents are just rotting in hospitals without even a single paracetamol, Panado just government ogenda gende of no troshwari. Does it really bring out the whole idea? No.
Oseza kifaananyi weewaawo katika tugende ku nsonga y'ebyenfuna. Yesterday omukulembeze w'eggwanga bwe yabadde ayogera yategeezezza we bajjira mu buyinza mu 1986 basanga oboolyawo ezaali cash crops zaggwawo. I think it was yagambe, is it cotton and
coffee, cotton and tobacco.
Yes, naye n'agamba nti ebyo yasanga nabyo birimpinga okubanga biggweerayo completely. N'agamba nti they've revived the economy of the country from 19 saawa zino zirenga cash crops. N'atusiigira n'ekifaananyi ky'amata saawa zino okuba nti ge gamu ku gwe tu exportinga mu mawanga amalala oba oliawo ne tujjamu ne ssente. Aren't we Ugandans too selfish to appreciate ebimu ku ebyo ebituukiddwako mu myaka?
Was it specifically done by Northern Uganda?
No.
Now, that one is out now. Tobacco. I don't know if you have seen tobacco grow.
I've seen it. That one I've seen it.
And you see, it would actually reflect and match the standards that we are into now. If you say if you value bakozesa betwita twabisomanga nga tubita rudimentary population that is too much growing,
yes,
would have used this technology that is available and at leisure to also increase the production in all these things that we are talking about. You get? Wouldn't be crying. We are being helped by Idi Amin, the president then. But now, it's us now even importing, exporting people, our young girls and boys, to go there and now to start cleaning and doing all these funny works that they are doing there. I think that we are facing as a country. Abasinga betwara bakadamu. They go just there to do all those kind of things. Instead, at least the other country would have been coming back to us and say, at least mutongere uko biyambi. Kuba mwabatu ya.
Nagamba amajani wetwalimiranga ebiseera biri zayavangamu million 3 eza bags, but right now tujjamu 60 million bags. Natulaga cotton production naye egenda ekula from.
Look at the population in 86.
Yes.
Okay, the population in those years cannot be the same population that we have now. We have Makadinagamba Kangendeko, Queen Elizabeth Kangendeko, Emaktion Falls Kangendeko, Windy. That's all money that is got from tourism sector. But what do we add onto our budget as a country? Bulimako Vera Wanugulida budget reading. Do you know how much we borrow? Do you know how much they demand you as a citizen of this country because of the borrowing? So does it really match? Yes, we percent to finance our budgets as a country. Surely, whatever, when he talks in figures, most of the people don't understand. You get?
Okay.
And you need to come to reality and understand what's on ground. Yes. Numbers utuzulide ozogedde nga wozogedde, but ku reality tuyina watch. Does it match the figures you're always talking about as the president of this country? It doesn't. Where even we cannot afford to fund and finance at least 70% of our budget per year. We have to borrow, we have to do all those kind of things so that we can be able to run our budget.
Council, government had all programs. We would talk of youth livelihood program, emyoga, all those programs that we Uganda but then we are still crying. We look at citizens playing a role
yes, it is true that the number of programs and they would actually work hard to move us from what we are even to the middle income status country, like the president.
Middle income status
like the president wanted to promote us just prematurely. But Lilian, kutandika ku youth livelihood program, genda kumyo parish development model nendara nyingi. How many of those have you benefited from? Are you not a citizen of this country?
But even the people that were
don't you qualify?
Don't
you qualify? But you see, me fit in that level. You get? But they were the beneficiaries of the youth livelihood programs. How many people can you stand here and say at least I noted benefited from that program? That are close to you. Bafuna chenkana chi chaba yamba chitia. Did it match?
Katwalu enkola ya grow saawa zino era yakuyamba bakyala still kwejambwavu gana jayo loan
lwekyo kyakutandikawo akaduuka
kwongera mu business abaagala okwongeramu n'ebirala
oba ogende mu agriculture otandike okulima ebintu ebyenjawulo but bwomala birima do you even get the markets for those? Will you be able to actually look at your gardens themselves, including the changes in the seasons? You will need irrigation. Do you have the capacity to irrigate that garden until you to your home area in Kabramaido or in Kabong to come and buy this produce so that they can be able to transport it to Kampala? Looking at the infrastructure itself. That's why you see that omulimi konkumitana. You get? Because they will add the cost of transportation, the nights they will spend in from Ndungamo maybe to Kampala on that bad road, including nemisoro jenjawulo gye babateekako. Osanga nti that's why omuntu agula ettooke lya 15 ewaffe Ntungamo n'alireeta Kampala nga lya 5. You get? Because of the challenges that we face. Now who is benefiting? Is it the farmer? Gwawa sente omujje mu bwako. But even when we give out this money, do we come out to make follow-ups? Tudde no mu byalo be twawa sente ne tubalondola ne tugamba Lilian twamuwa sente agule ente 10 yazigula.
Jozi bali basiba abantu era be bawa sente ne bazirya.
You have just started to run this. That even when you provide all these resources available to the people, you have to follow up and be able to understand, was it put in the right youth? Wabawa sente kuziko bwe tebina kye bikoze mu kukyusa n'okujja abantu mu bwavu. Lwaki tuddayo ne tukozesa enkozesa zizimu nga tusuubira results ez'enjawulo? At least we need to change the tactics and
kuzula amafuta ne then n'ebyobugagga ebirala oba oliawo gold n'ebirala ensonga ey'okubiri phase ey'okubiri yali expanding money economy, phase ey'okusatu mwalimu diversifying the economy, phase ey'okuna yali ezaffe tuli mu pharmaceuticals waliwo amadagala agakolebwa wano n'ebirala. According to you nga bosize ekifaananyi oba oliawo ekisoose
and that are making manufacturing of the products that are as a result of this new regime.
Wano juzi babadde was it Luwedde Nakaseke babadde batulaga ebimu ku ebyo factories
being that this government empowers the local citizens. Fe abana Uganda fe bandu waddo bebandita involved in establishing an industry to help in manufacturing a certain good or product. Lilian should have been given the first priority. But this government in its knowledge, it now brings in the investors. Do you know the kind of investors that we are getting that own those even a few industries that you're talking about? It is an investor that will come with his head. I don't know which kind of investments they are doing. Areta mutwegwe ettaka ne bamuweri obwerere ne bamulira nero ne bagimugatirako ne bamuteekako tax holidays and exemptions for I don't know how many years abaye akakolawo emyaka 2 ng'enaatera okuggwayo ng'akyusa ng'addayo ng'akomawo mu phase endala. Those are the kind of investors that we are getting.
Naye tebawa bannayuganda emirimu okusinziira ku President Museveni.
Babawa emirimu
bannayuganda emirimu okusinziira ku President Museveni.
Babawa emirimu babasasula mmeka? But you have already kirungi oli mawulire and you have always followed and watched the news or done news about how many people are not even being paid the little that they are supposed to get. Does it really bring out the whole idea? You get? Ekyokubiri okuvumbula amafuta mu bitundu byehoyi. You see, in the 21st century, at least we shouldn't be. Yeah. You see, in the 21st century, at least we shouldn't be going to petroleum products and all the rest. Eggwanga likulaakulanye, ensi eri mu kulaakulana that we have even moved to electric cars. Now you are just clapping for yourself that you have been able to find petrol oil been able to find petrol oil in your region and your area. Gagayamba, but that was back then. That was back then. We are now moving to reusable energy. That was back then. We are now moving to reusable energy. Moving to reusable energy, and we are not so much interested in getting your the petroleum products. But the electric, that's how we tugenda katingensi. Naegwe ochayagala kuleta amafuta go, I don't know, they had projected to start down the road 15 years. They had projected to start down the road 15 years. Tuchari yao mweyo stagnance, you get? Me have been tuchari yao mweyo stagnance, you get? Me have been able, I have had an opportunity to be in those areas. I'm after Jigava. But what do you think? I have had an opportunity to be in those areas. I'm after Jigava. But what do you think is happening there? Say, Namafuta Gogevogero in the Sanga Tegari yo. Me, I have started maybe to believe in Tanago Tegari yo, Kovasinga Gari. Me, I have started maybe to believe in Tanago Tegari yo, Kovasinga Gari yo. And that is where the president's target of raising, I don't.
Sawa zino gold chechimu kati exports zetulina ebuli awo
gold. Because if we have it as the biggest exportation and the mineral in this country, it must be known to people at least.
Zino boli awo ebyobugagga ebyomutaka aba gold tubalabyeko aba benefiting in one or the other. Simwe muli mu kuwudisa bannayuganda.
Ate tubawudisa tugenze mbabulire ekiriwo. And the truth actually, me actually, I am very okay with anybody doing whatever. But if one person or two people have participated in a certain activity and have benefited themselves, then don't put it on everybody in this country. We are all not living and earning from. Now, I think in about not so many years from today, a few people will be interested in following up the Independence Day. Because it didn't make sense to me as an individual. Because does it really bring out the whole idea of being independent? Independence itself, I think it should be that we are able. We cannot see it. Chinkugambi did that in just a few years to come. Independence will just be a normal day. And everybody will be just on his or her own things, doing whatever they are doing, and not even bother.
Obolia ujitwalisinga ensonga enene ya constitutional reforms jetugenda okubanga tetuzaako in the next hour eranga gwatesa Tumusiime. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be right back.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sewagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machindye, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m., Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besije every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Teddy, Have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally, Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, they meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public. The science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and
benefit us.
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are based all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Waawo kulikayo nnyo mukuumulamu okwo kwe tubadde mu programu ekyali ya Mighty Drive. Nze Luwedde Luwedde Lilian ndine munnamateeka Kato Tumusiime. Ssaawa yaffe esoose tugiwunzise naye nga bwe twogerera tuli mu ssaawa eyo. Waawo n'agenda maaso n'okuba nga atutangazaamu ensonga y'okuba nti bateekawo amateeka oboolyawo amakakali ageetaaga okugobererwa mu biseera nga bino nga bwe badde bannaffe ab'eggwanga erya Kenya obimu ku bino oba muzimu ku zino electoral reforms omukulu ze yali aleese. Then oluvannyuma tujja kukoonako oboolyawo ne ku nsonga ya Honorable Richard Lumu. Njagala tutandikira awo nga ggwe munnamateeka. What do you make of all these electoral reforms? Tutandikire ku za Honorable Norbert Mao.
Yes, thank you. Now, I don't know why we are a sleeping country.
Really?
Yes, we are a sleeping country. You see, from the time we finish elections and from the time the new president or the new leaders take oath of office,
yes,
we have 4 years to go into the next election. You get?
Yeah.
Finish elections in 2021, remember. This is 2024.
Waliwo petitions awo. Yeah.
Never mind, never withdrawing, but that's not an issue. But in different cases,
yes,
the presidential election petitions that we have had in this country, the Supreme Court has always made it clear on which reforms we need as a country, and those are electoral reforms. Tandika 2016, 2016,
2016, in 2021.
Yes, we have had so many declarations made by the Supreme Court on which amendments and which reforms should be introduced, yes, by the Parliament. You get? None of them have been ever. No one has even ever given it a try to at least say, "Kale katugoberese kote enkuru kyayaragira mwaka guno, so that we can table it and discuss it."
Okay.
All these people, this is not the first time actually they are going to table the amendments in the election processes and the laws. No, it's not the first time. Because usually, then in the final fourth year, that's when they will start to table these new reforms and amendments. That's why I'm saying we are a sleeping country. And no one is actually bothered to even question, including the minister himself, that Mao. I believe that when Honorable Mao took into power, he got too comfortable and forgot all those problems. Now, We'll reach into the next election. Let us be realistic with ourselves. Let us be realistic with ourselves. In these 2 months that are remaining before we start the electioneering process and time, do we have time to have all these reforms and amendments tabled before Parliament for discussions? No. The answer is no.
So we know nachigumaza.
Just bariao vanonya they are doing PR, public relations, and and also to make the citizens know that at least they are doing something about
These are things he promised abana Uganda naga nti ngenda bwentuuka eri bimu ku byengenda okubanga mbakolera
amaze myaka emeka, and this is when he has now realized that, oh, did we need the electoral reforms? You get? And you can see that it is even a gamble. It is a gamble.
These are things electoral reforms is regulating freedom of speech at the assembly, addressing the conduct of campaigns and public events, introducing stricter measures against public servants engaging in political activities, and limiting military involvement in elections.
Yes.
This is aimed at improving transparency and fairness in Uganda's electoral system.
They are good proposals, Lilian. That
yes.
one is of no doubt. Because now, why should we have the military and the armed forces involved in politics in the first place? Yes, we believe they are citizens of this country.
Yes.
And they have a right to vote like me and you. But its involvement now should not be on supporting one side and not the other, and openly, and maybe destabilizing the peace of the rest that are also doing their campaigns. Democracy states that, you see, it is a vote of the majority against the minority. But even when we are the minority group, we also have our rights and we should be heard. You understand my point?
Okay.
That the involvement of the army will come with the support to the government officials, the people that are already in power.
Okay.
That is the NRM. Because mostly that's when their campaigns will be guarded. They will be given all that security. They will even do campaigns past the time limit, which is always stipulated by Electoral Commission, and nobody will be bothered. But let it come to opposition. On the opposition rallies, that's when you will see the beatings of the people, the arrests that are a bit true and very ruthless, the torturing of the people that have actually come to listen to the message of a presidential candidate, because at the end of it all, this president, once elected, will be the president of all. Whether you are in opposition or in government, he will be our president. And for us to make clear decisions on who to support, we must be able to listen to their manifestos and what they are bringing onto us as a country, and what plans they have for us as citizens and the country itself. But when you deny us access to such a candidate and his campaign, his or her campaign, then you have denied us or limited us on opening our ideas and minds on what new things or what is so special in presidential candidate A and not in presidential candidate B. And you are only giving us an opportunity to be interested in one party, one person and one party. You get?
Okay.
That's where democracy falls and dies from. But, well, if you are the army men, if you are the armed police officers, do your roles as stipulated by the Constitution. Guard the people, protect them with their goods. And that's where you were stopped from. But involvement in subduing the activities of a certain party or a presidential candidate now shouldn't be your role.
What does the law say about...
In fact, that one should be punishable under the law.
Oh.
Because ideally and realistically, by law, all these UPDF and the police shall be non-partisan.
Yes.
But where and when do they get involved in, you know, you also see them even on national TV saying, but you see, that's a government. But you must be non-partisan. You have no party. Whether this one is from opposition or this one is from government, your role is to protect them as citizens of this country, because that is your primary role.
Waliwo mwami wa NRM yangamba nti bonga ekibiina ekiri mu buyinza bwe baali bajja in 1986 basuubiza bannayuganda okubakuuma n'ebyabwe, so balaba ng'embeera yonna eneeva mu nteeko balina okuyingira
kati bayingiramu nga batwala sides okuyingiramu tetwandikiganye if their intentions are clear and it's for the good of the people. But why do they now have to side with one party against the other? In the last election, you saw so many men of big rankings saying that, you see, the truth is we cannot hand over power to somebody that is not a military man. Recently, I've seen the CDF of this country also make his tweet about the same.
Yes.
That this country shall never have a president who is a
civilian.
He's a civilian. I don't know where these people get all this kind of courage to just be there somewhere and they think that that's a decision all this country should be taking. Because this country is governed by laws, and laws are clear. They are stipulated. The qualifications of a president are clear under the law.
Because bobanga ogogedde ogasaitinze weegali.
Weegali.
Tegateekeddwa mu nkola. Tugambe tigalina wegakoma, nti gakoma wano kubano tegakwatawo.
Anti kyekyo buli omu ayina engeri gye yeeyisaamu wano mu ggwanga. Those in power think that they are above everything and nothing is that we can bar them from doing whatever they are doing. Ndowooza we bajja n'agamaanyi kwogera just bye baagala okwogera.
Okay.
Because they feel that is in their interest and that's where their target is. But my whole point is I think we need to run a culture and maybe have these laws enforced on everybody equally, as the law suggests that we are all equal under and before the law. But the reality is that some people maybe tend to be better than the rest. And that's where they get the courage to speak all that they want to speak, aimlessly and without fear or favor of whatever will happen. Because they know they are the ones in charge of this country. But the reality should be that even when you are a CDF of this country, you're bound by the laws of this country. Okay? You only hold the title as a CDF and maybe you head and command the armed forces, the UPDF. But that one doesn't stop you from being a Ugandan and from being liable under the laws. You get?
Yeah.
I think you saw one of the lawyers take him to court for the baseless statements that he makes and all that. Now, the biggest point that I'm trying to make is that all these people that are trying to bring these electoral reforms and amendments in the law are just looking for sympathy from the rest of the people. They are using it as an electioneering slogan and term. Your campaigns agenda gamba bantu. You see, I even brought and introduced an amendment in the electoral process, but because Parliament had no time, they did not discuss it. But that was my idea. That was my agenda. You get? Ntinawe Lilian bobere yokuraye no uliro omuntu nga byali agezako kuleta muteeka nga byali bigezako kulungamya akalulu kabereka bwenkanya kabereka bwerufu naye Parliament nemulemesa. Then you will sympathize with them and give them your vote. Most of these people banonya byabwe tikolera ffe ng'abana Uganda.
Honorable Mathias Mpuuga yagamba nti ye tajja kukkiriza muntu mulala kumutegeerera. Wabula yajja kwetegeerera y'ensonga lwaki yatudde na proposing electoral reforms.
Honorable Mpuuga has been in Parliament for I think about 15 years now. You get? Honorable Mpuuga is a lawyer.
Yes.
Honorable Mpuuga, I believe that he has had an opportunity to read all these presidential election petitions to see the recommendations made by court. For the years he has spent in Parliament, is this the right time that he has decided that, oh, surely we need electoral? That's how it is. But is this the right time that he has?
He felt like Uganda
that he has decided that, you see, in my 15 years in Parliament as a member of Parliament, holding all those important and better positions, but at this time when we have seen the DP Brock saying now we shall front you as a presidential candidate, is this when he has now decided and said no, our electoral reforms are very bad, so that we need amendments so that we can make them
anti yagambe ebijja kujja ekyo kijja kujja secondary ekikulu kye kino okutereeza mu byokulonda oba amateeka mu byokulonda ne bw'anaabanga bamusimbyewo na candidate nga zenga ebintu biteredde
because that one came
presidential term limits zikomyewo.
Honorable Mpuuga participated in a parliamentary sitting that amended the constitution and removed the term. But you see, all these provisions and declarations
because
that
Wanga bagamba the eyes have it all.
Now, by November this year, abenare bagenda baba bali mu constituency banoonya kalulu koma umpala.
Akakamyufu.
Akakamyufu. By 2025 around May, ne parliament ojja bango ogirewa ku mawulire nga nkalu. Buli omu aliko new amendments. They're just politicking around them. They're just politicking and they don't have any good intentions.
Presidential election results, presidential candidates to have a runmate who shall be the deputy presidents, prisoners and Ugandans in the diaspora. Don't you think?
Have you had any? I'm saying that whatever they are doing is just for their personal sake, personal interest, and they should actually not be even given any opportunity to be entertained too. Parliament have solved a lot of problems. Mwezo gundi electoral reforms ebalese. You remember last year, I think we started in 2016 when we used the biometric into a new election process so that we can be able to talk about them. Has anybody thought about introducing new terms, maybe new technology, new use or the law that governs the biometric system of manifestos? You see, as we were ending our term, I had introduced the review of the electoral processes. I had proposed the amendments, and these were the amendments that I had proposed. So that I can be that I had promised to achieve. Because Parliament did not give me time at that stage to be able to pass my recommendations and reforms into law. You get? That's why I'm saying that and that's the reality.
Awutudde ku Honorable Richard Lumu oli awo ne nnongosereza zayagala okuleeta mu ngeri Parliament gyeddukanyizibwamu and how everyone is looking at it oba oli awo kuba nti afunye oba akutte ekyokubiri mu kulonda kwa president at least ajjanga ex official ensonga y'okulonda leader of opposition byonna obiwulidde oba oli awo nga gwe munnamateeka omuntu yeeraliikirira ki bwe kiba nti n'abali ku ludda oluwabula gavumenti nabo balemeddwa okuba nga bakkiririza mu munnaabwe kyaleese kyalaba nti kirungi okubasaavinga.
Honorable Lumu teyakajja mu Parliament kati. Kige? And it's unfortunate that his party has not got an opportunity to be the biggest opposition political party. Those and at some point. But I have had an opportunity to read his amendment and what he's suggesting, voting the leader of opposition. Now, the law itself, the one that is in place, actually provides for the election, that the leader of opposition shall be elected. But now, the law is not clear on now who are the people that are supposed to elect this person. But it has been the practice. We call it under the law the precedents that have been happening. How has it been done in the past? So we
Ekibiina kirina ababaka abangi
kituula ne kigamba ono yagenda otukulembera and that's the leader of opposition. Like the government sits there and selects the government chief whip, selects the prime minister, the leader of government business and all the rest. And nobody has ever questioned that. You get? Now, if Rumu, Honorable, says that now we need to be voting, the members of opposition need to be voting for the leader of opposition. There are questions now that are surrounding that. Who are the people that are eligible voters? Karika Tugambe, they are all opposition MPs.
Yes.
They will be eligible voters. Where will that election be held or conducted from? And again, Bachi, what they be able to vote and elect a leader of opposition. 3. Who are the people that qualify to be leaders of opposition? Because the rest says that the party, the biggest opposition party that has the largest number of MPs.
Balete ba candidates basatu bakubweka akalulu. Oba oli obawulire manifesto yaabwe. Kiche bagenda okukolera.
Bagenda kutuula wa okulonda leader of opposition. First, that's one. 2. Ani agenda okubeera a chairman wa electoral commission oba akakiiko akakulira okulonda leader of opposition. Ekyokusatu. Ekyokusatu. It would be Honorable Mu, the things he wants to be done on the leader of opposition, shall they also apply to the government chief whip and
That's
the leader
the
of
Prime
government?
Minister.
Shall we lift the same so that they can be applicable to the other side? And where his proposal does not also attack that, then it is useless.
Nti kiri ekibiina kimu bano baakiikirira bangi era nga abamu ku babaka baali complaining, especially ku kutuula kw'eggulu nga bagamba nti bo nga bo balina okusakira abantu baabwe bakiikirira, leader of opposition talina kubasalirawo ku kiki bateekeddwa kubanga bakola.
So is that the reason as to why they want to elect the leader of opposition?
About they feel like and so on abakulembera bonna regardless of the political party they come from. Nenga ate ensonga za fronting obolyawo za kibiina kye ze kimugamba neta fronting ensonga nga bwe zina kubeera okuva mu bano bonna bakulembera.
Leader of opposition participates in selecting or nominating or appointing, whichever word can be applicable there. Mukulonda shadow cabinet.
Yes.
Mukulonda abakulira obukiiko obwenjawulo. It means if you subject the leader of opposition to voting by the members of the opposition political parties, then even the cabinet ministers should be voted for on the shadow cabinet.
Era mu kiteeso kyayagala kuba nti ba shadow cabinet elevated nayo.
Then it means that even the chairman or chairpersons of these different committees that are headed by the opposition should be elected. But the question is now, how will that election be? Is it by lining? Is it by ballot? Separate ballot? Is it by raising of hands? How shall that election be conducted? And who shall preside over this election? In election processes, we have always had differing views. Even on the results as they are announced, you will see the other party complaining that there has been vote rigging, that there has been intimidation and all that. In case we get challenges of the same, a candidate that is not voted as a leader of opposition has issues with the process of the election itself. Where shall the recourse be? Agenda kuddukirawa okuyambibwa bw'aba alowooza nti akalulu ke tekatambudde mu mateeka. All those things are just not being highlighted. Nti mutudde ne mulonda leader of opposition as all the other political parties.
Yes.
Does that mean that he will not pay allegiance to his political party? Because his political party will have participated in bringing him as a member of parliament. Okay? And they have a say on him as its
Bwanabanga zenga asomye manifesto ye nti nze ku bukulembeze bwange nga leader of opposition I will be able to do A, B, C, D.
Naye emirimu gya leader of opposition amateeka gagirambika bulungi. Kati ye Roma ayagala kuleeta gage. Oba leader of opposition aliwo alemeddwa okutuukiriza byalina okukola mu mateeka. Bw'aba alemeddwa, then they should know what to do for him. Bamukubeko akalulu bamuggyemu obwesige bamusuule eri. Because they will have reasons as to why they think that he has failed. Because he has not delivered what the law prescribed that he must deliver as a leader of opposition. You get?
Leader of opposition aliko actually agambe na direct attack jibakola eri ye ng'omuntu.
Yeah, and to the opposition to destabilize opposition itself. Because you must give the political party that has worked to raise the majority number of MPs to also have benefits. It's on its own. You get? Because there are reasons as to why different political parties choose different people to be the leaders of opposition. There are reasons that I may not know as an individual, but I believe that there are reasons. Maybe they consider their contribution to the party, maybe they consider their participation, and maybe they consider their allegiance to the political party itself. That since the leader of opposition runs a bigger budget, then he can be able to help the political party to also traverse the country and do its mobilization, and maybe he can use part of his budget also run some activities of the political party. Those would be there. But now, if we subject this now to elections, okay, we shall have the interference of the ruling party, because it will need a leader of opposition that will not question its activities and what programs, like the originally, how it would have been. We shall have the involvement of political party NRM, fronting candidates also in the opposition so that they can be able to be nominated. And who will do this nomination of the leader of opposition and say, we have nominated 3 people? Is it the party? Okay. And if the party also nominates the people that it believes should be one to be the leader of opposition, will it still change the problem? Because if the political party, for example, NUP, is still interested in having Honorable Joel Senyonyi as a leader of opposition, it means it will select its cream, the cream, the people that they feel are going to deliver and make a biggest achievement in their roles as the leader of opposition. Honorable Joel Senyonyi, emugate komulala. At the end of it all, you end up still electing a person of their choice as a political party, because it's the one that will nominate. DP, with your candidates, you will not be able to nominate a candidate from your political party. JM will not nominate Honorable Babasari as a single member of the party to be the leader of opposition. Okay. It means that the same will be given to NUP, for example, if it still has the biggest majority of the MPs, to select choices. Now, how is that different from sitting there in Kamocha and saying that Honorable Joel Senyonyi, you are now the new leader of opposition, representing the political party? All this is just politicking and wasting the taxpayers' money. And there is nothing new that it will have to be selected as a leader of opposition. But less than that, this new law will not even help promote himself as an individual, as a member of parliament. Do we have answers for them? The answer is no. You get? If you identify that problem and the lacuna that is existing, now you're suggesting the amendments, suggestions that will now cure this problem that is not cured by the existing law. Now, when NUP
singa ate wano akulembera babaka banne abali ku Luwabula government mu parliament nga tawuliriza bivamu bo, then what does that mean? It
makes prepositions. They come with the same position, yes, and it's tabled before the rest of the opposition members of parliament for discussions. Will this now change when the leader of opposition is elected by members of parliament? Electing a leader of opposition, does it really make sense? I think we have better issues to discuss about than even wasting time on Oromo and his bill.
Independence, at least now bafuna whip.
Atagenda ba whipping achi. Independence, you know, by na choice to sit on any side where they want to their views to be fronted. But to say, you see, it is too childish of Oromo to say that the second presidential candidate should be part of parliament. It's very childish, because I believe that a political party is not run on a one-man army who is the presidential candidate. Yes. I believe that the manifesto that the presidential candidate from a political party runs on is a manifesto built by a political party and its members. Parliament and the rest of the leaders in their different capacities. You get? The issue now should be, it is always open for everybody.
Ya parliament yo banso.
Ya state house oba ghetto.
Ania yuga ku ground. Ya parliament yo banso.
Ya state house oba ghetto.
Ania yuga ku ground.
Ani kwe babuze.
Okimanyi nga Dr. Kiza Besigye alesa amaanyi.
Olwo fadda bafutsoli abateesemu obuvaazi.
Oba yo DP eri kuki?
Fadda bafutsoli abateesemu obuvaazi.
Oba yo DP eri kuki?
Olwo jema.
Bano ba MKCG bo baddawo.